Hello there, welcome to Babylon Has Fallen. I'm your host, Mason Sandoval.
I'm Joseph Orzov.
And, holy shit, we just saw the Batman.
Yes, we did.
A transformative experience, dare I say.
That would be an understatement.
An understatement?
Is that the quote?
Wait, no. Wait.
That's not it. That's fine.
Oh, fuck. No,
Right?
I know what you're talking about.
It
Yeah,
was from, the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
It was Pharrell
yeah.
and Hans Zimmer, and it was, like, revolutionary. It's an understatement.
Yeah.
No, this film, my God.
Took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say, oh my God. 2/3 of my words.
Right?
How
would you best describe this Batman movie?
I don't know. I mean, too many words come to mind. I mean, it feels entirely unique while still taking so much from the source material, other movies even, but not feeling like, I mean, as you said, it doesn't feel like it's ripping off anything or just stealing an entire quote or line of dialogue or plot thread. It feels very fresh. That's how I describe it. It feels very fresh.
Yeah, and even the stuff that it is paying homage to, it's from so many different versions and so many different eras of Batman. It's such a hodgepodge that's woven together so brilliantly. It's its own thing.
Exactly, yeah.
Go ahead.
It like I mean, as you were saying, like wove so many different things together. I think that's what really was one of its biggest strong suits going in, is that it wasn't trying to be one thing. You know, it wasn't trying to take as much from The Dark Knight. Like, I felt that a lot of movies, even just generic action movies, started taking a lot from The Dark Knight, and it felt like everything was very, like, Dark Knight 2, Electric Boogaloo, or, like, let's just make a remake of The Dark Knight. Not literally, but...
Yeah, I know. There's, like, 2 or 3 of the Daniel Craig James Bond movies that are basically the Christian Bale Batman movies, but with the bow tie.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, Skyfall is literally the Dark Knight. It's hilarious.
So it's even on a bigger scale than I...
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel like Dark Knight 2. It doesn't feel like, I don't know, BVS 2 or something. I mean, of course it wouldn't, but who would want to be the sequel of that? But it just feels very fresh because it takes from multiple things while not letting those things that it's paying homage to overstay their welcome. You know, it feels very natural for the story that, oh, here's this story of how Falcone's life was saved by Thomas Wayne.
Right.
But it just leaves it there. Just, here's this story of how good of a man Thomas Wayne is, which later on in the film is kind of flipped on its head, as many things are. But all these references are in service to the story and to this movie. They don't waste our time.
It never feels fan servicey for a second.
Exactly.
It's a wonderful way of making old things new.
Yeah.
Great way for a new generation, but also just really modernizing this character and this world in a way that, you know, it's grounded and realistic, like the Nolan films, but unlike the Christopher Nolan films, it's not ever afraid to be a comic book movie. It doesn't feel like it's ever afraid to be a Batman movie.
Yeah.
The thing about the Nolan films is, like, they feel like, you know, a kung fu movie or like a mob movie, but featuring Batman characters. This is a Batman movie in every sense of those words. What are your thoughts on Robert Pattinson?
So fucking good.
Right?
As the Batman. Oh my God. I mean, the fact that the movie was called The Batman, I knew I was in for something special. But by the end of it, I don't just think, oh, it's Batman. No, that is the Batman.
Yeah.
For me, that is the Batman.
He is Batman.
Yeah. Personally, I've told you this already. Personally, I have to see it again before I can say anything definitively.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But I really, really have a strong feeling that he is my favorite live-action Batman.
You know, yeah, I mean, mainly because of just how good of a detective he is.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson really understands the rage behind this character.
Yeah.
And when you think it's going to be, you know, unnecessarily angsty, or he's just going to be, oh, he's emo, And he 100% is.
He is, yeah.
But it's done so in a mature and sophisticated way that only a Bruce Wayne can get away with. And Robert Pattinson just is Bruce Wayne, and you're just seeing him in these interviews, and like it's this isn't just some guy putting on a Batman costume and doing a funny voice. No, this is a man inhabiting this character with 100% of his mind, body, and soul.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that he fights, the gadgets, the car, the Batmobile alone.
I remember so many people were saying so many negative things about it when it was first revealed.
I was too. Well, because it's, I mean, listen, it was an acquired taste, because I think it's safe to accept, I think just amongst an audience, or just as an audience, we're never going to get a cooler Batmobile than the 89 Batmobile.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to look like shit in comparison. But this is a really cool way. Again, everything about this movie and this particular version of this world is a really fun and cool way of making all of these, not supernatural, but all of these just very, very comic booky elements feel very, very grounded.
Yeah.
So making a literal rocket car from scratch, like this version of Batman does, out of like an old 70s muscle car, kind of makes sense, I think, personally.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Out of all of the Batman's Batmobiles, this one feels the most realistic to me.
Everything
that
about
some
this Batman feels
billionaire
the most realistic.
could really make that. I'm sure there are rocket like cars of some sort that exist.
Yeah, people all
For
the
sure.
time make their own Batmobiles. It's amazing. It's just cool seeing a Batman actually make their own Batmobile.
Yeah, because it's always like implied. Like you'll know, oh, he probably made that himself, or Alfred helped him out with schematics or whatever. But
Yeah, there's always a shot or two of Alfred in the background, like, you know, with the wrench or something.
yeah, like
on the
tinkering
engine
something or whatever.
Yeah.
But with this one, I'm pretty sure you can see like all of the different like things in the background, as if his Batcave is also like a body shop. He's
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And I love that.
No, 100%. And I love the fact that his Batcave is in an old train station.
Yeah.
That's just kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's fun, and again, it's so unique while being so true to character. Jim Gordon is great in this. Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
I know he's not commissioner yet, but you get
He
it.
will be.
My God, I'd like. You want to talk about the one good cop in a bad bunch? I mean, go ahead.
You're right. I mean, he was because that scene, for example, when he's taking Carmine out of the Iceberg Lounge, and he fully unveils him to the public, and I think Gordon whispers like what do you
Maybe
say?
not all of us work for you, or something like
Yeah,
that.
it was a line almost word for word that.
Yeah.
Like, sure, there are all of these other good cops, but the second I see like Jim Gordon talking,
Yeah.
you know, just like the look he gives to Batman, the fact that he trusts him for 2 years before anyone else did, that is like the good cop. And the performance is amazing, don't get me wrong, too.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
the writing and his performance, so good.
Every single scene between Robert Pattinson and Commissioner Gordon I'm not even calling him Jeffrey Wright. It's just Commissioner Gordon now.
Yeah.
And by the way, he is the best Commissioner Gordon since Gary Oldman. I love J.K. Simmons. I love Ben McKenzie.
Yeah, he's great.
He's
He was
great too. Jeffrey Wright, though. Sorry.
Yeah, he wins.
Every day. But every scene between Gordon and Batman feels like a cop show. And
Yeah.
it's great. It makes you really want to see that GCPD spinoff that they're talking about.
Yeah. I loved it. It felt like watching a comic book come to life whenever they would be walking into some dingy ass room and you would see Batman holding a flashlight next to Jim Gordon holding another one.
Every single shot of this movie looks like a comic book panel.
Yeah, absolutely.
The coloring is great. You get like literally every single. It's weird because this movie it's very dark, yes, in like tone and themes, but just like visually, it's a very, very dark film.
Yeah.
But at the same time, kind of like the animated series, it's dark, but it has bursts of every single color imaginable. There's hues of red, obviously, but also yellow and blue, a little bit of green here and there. But and that you add that with the rest of the cinematography, which is the best that a Batman movie has ever looked. In addition to some of the camera work in this, you're getting POV shots of the Batmobile and of Batman's cape.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
I told you before, one of my favorites was Bruce was, I think, chasing Selina
Mm-hmm.
after she was leaving her apartment. And that shot behind his head while he's on the motorcycle, going
Oh,
swerving between cars, it
oh,
looked so good. It didn't
it
last
did.
very long, but it was so good. It left such a good impression seeing that. Just seeing, visually, seeing that shows how much everyone cares, when making this movie.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of love and care that went into this movie. Thoughts on Zoe Kravitz?
She was amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
Where would you rank her as Catwoman,
I think you're more equipped to do that. I mean, I don't.
if I may?
I'm not in. There are a few Catwoman I'm ashamed I'm not as familiar with as others.
Well, 3 of them were from the '60s show, and I will say that Zoe Kravitz is better than those 3
Mm-hmm.
already. She's better than Halle Berry. It's really just between Michelle Pfeiffer and Anne Hathaway. In a heartbeat, I say that she's better than Anne Hathaway, and I love Anne Hathaway's Catwoman. I think that it's the most comic accurate, but this was significantly more comic accurate.
Yeah.
But Michelle Pfeiffer, though, I'm sorry. And it's not even like, oh, she's so fucking hot. No, it's just that.
Sound like the penguin.
Take it easy, sweetheart. No, but the difference between Zoe Kravitz and Michelle Pfeiffer, I like Michelle Pfeiffer's interpretation because it's you're watching a broken woman kind of embody the different kind of abuses that women in general face,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a very, very interesting take on that character. Whereas with this version of the character, she is ripped right out of the comic books. She looks just like the comic book Catwoman. I hate
Yeah.
her mask, but I got used to it. It looks a
Yeah.
lot better on the big screen than it does
In trailers, on
in
your little
trailers, yeah.
phone. Yeah,
Exactly.
it does look better on.
It looks more than just a ski mask.
Yeah.
I love the way that she fights. I love her mentality behind stealing, very much like the actual Selena Kyle in the comics. She feels very, very, very much entitled to the money that she's stealing,
Yeah.
and she has her justification, I think, in this film, very much so,
Yeah.
and her chemistry with Robert Pattinson.
So good.
It's so
It was
good.
amazing.
They are the bat and the cat, and it's every scene with them. It's just electricity, and it's cool because it's not really touched on all that much, but you're kind of seeing glimpses of this Batman kind of his shell dissolving. Obviously he's comfortable working with Alfred and with Commissioner Gordon, but this is kind of the first time that we're seeing this version of Batman, obviously in general, but this version of Batman working with an ally, and it's cool that he's not really all that opposed to working with someone that's affiliated with the criminal element.
Yeah.
And eventually that will open the door for him to have a Robin and a Batgirl eventually. And I desperately want to see that in these movies.
I think that'd be amazing. There's one thing I actually loved, an interaction he had with Catwoman where she was like really kind of nervous about the eye technology he has once she had put it in, and she was like, wait, can you see this? And then he gets really close. He grabs her chin and he goes, no, I can see it.
Yeah.
He just walks away.
Yeah.
Like she's like totally like, what was all that for? You're just gonna tell me this? Like that moment, the look in her eyes tells you everything you need to know. Like her performance was great. And another thing about her, I was gonna mention this earlier, kind of bringing it back to Halle Berry. I don't know if it was just you, but the scene when she's holding the gun, that's all I'm gonna say.
Dressed just like her.
Yeah,
Right?
It looked just like her.
That's kind of amazing.
Yeah,
That's actually like a really cool Easter egg.
yeah.
I thought.
The second I thought I was gonna turn to you, I don't know if I did.
I was
Maybe
thinking
I
the
did.
same. We gotta just vocalize our thoughts because we're clearly the same mind. But yeah, no, she while being her own version of this character, she does pay homage to every version of the character that comes before her.
Yeah.
I think she's sexy like Anne Hathaway. She has the complexity of a Michelle Pfeiffer. She has the fun banter of a '60s era Catwoman, but she's still her own. And
Yeah.
occasionally, she likes to dress up like Halle Berry. It's everything. Truly, it's everything. And also just one last thing before we move on to some of the other villains. I love how fiercely independent this version of Catwoman is, and every version of Catwoman is. But Obviously she toes the line between being a good guy and a bad guy, but she toes it so well it doesn't matter who's in her way. They will not stand a chance.
Yeah,
And it
that's
makes
true.
sense that she is working with Batman because she's kind of the only one that can keep up.
Yeah.
But moving on from that, let's talk about the main baddie of this, the Riddler.
Yeah.
Oh, his intro alone fucking terrified
Yeah, it was
me.
it was so intense. Like the
Oh
tension
my
you feel that
god.
whole time was insane.
He's a horror movie serial killer.
Yeah.
It's amazing. His death traps, his riddle game's a little bit weak, I'll admit. Carrie did it better.
Yeah, it was.
In that aspect alone. What else did you think about him?
um, I think it took a little time for him to grow on me, for
Yeah.
sure. Because when I think of the Riddler, I don't really think of a guy wearing like Saran wrap and
The gimp suit.
like a leather mask
Yeah.
and a trench coat with a question mark, which I did. I did like. I did.
Yeah.
Like there was.
I just don't like
A
the
semblance
mask,
of
but I
that.
like the costume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it took some time, but hearing his voice once all the modulation was off and you heard his genuine voice when he was in the interrogation, you could hear his voice not coming from through the intercom. You could hear his or not intercom, but the speaker.
Yeah.
Just hearing him, he sounded very Riddler-like to me.
No, he was
I love
perfect
that, yeah.
casting.
He has the look, he has the voice and everything. I mean, for this version of the Riddler, he played it damn near perfect.
And I'm in no way making a joke about this whatsoever. I kind of came up with this observation while watching it, and I thought that it was a very, very interesting layer for this character that we hadn't seen, but it had been hinted at. I think that this version of the Riddler's on the spectrum.
Yeah,
That's
I
very
think so.
interesting.
I think that is very interesting for them to do, and for them to do it in a more subtle way, as opposed to like Bruce finding some documents and it says it outright. I would hate if they did something like that. The fact that it's kind of hinted at just with how he acts, his mannerisms, how angry he gets, and the way in which he gets angry, it's amazing. I personally think that is an aspect of that character that
100%.
makes perfect sense. I've always thought that if you're gonna do the Riddler, I mean, it kind of makes sense to have him be on the spectrum.
Well, there's no way that he can't be. But I mean, it was that scene when he finally got arrested and they're pinning him down on the counter and he makes this noise and he does this breathe and like you can just see in his eyes just like, oh fuck, you're not really in control here. And that I think I love that we're seeing glimpses of how Matt Reeves is going to take the mental health of these characters seriously.
Yeah.
Because that's, to me, the most endearing aspect of every single Batman villain. They represent a different, not necessarily psychological disorder, but a different psychological condition. They're each a respective manifestation. Those manifestations do mirror tendencies within Batman's personality. But it's within those mirrors and it's within those conditions that you're able to find the humanity in these monsters. And that's why Batman doesn't kill. And that's why, in spite of how brutal this version of Batman is, he is non-lethal to his very core.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah. Like I was saying earlier, like how he was saying, like, the second Gordon pulls out a gun, he was saying, no guns to him, to a cop.
I know.
But just like the fact that he wants him to adhere to that too, it shows how serious he is about it, you know? And that scene with Selena where he was telling her not to go down that path. There was a line he had where
it's like, don't throw your life away. And she's
yeah,
like,
there's
don't
that.
worry, honey, I got 9 of them. I love their dialogue together.
Yeah. There was that, but he said there was another where he said like he's hurt you enough or given you enough pain or it was something about pain. Like don't let his pain be yours or something like that.
Someone like, yeah,
It was
no, he looks at Selena when she's about to kill, and I'm gonna edit this out because it's a spoiler.
Yeah.
But he looks at Selena when she's about to kill Falcone or Falcone, and I think he says like, you've paid enough.
Yeah, you've paid enough. There was that. Yeah, I thought that the way that it was verbalized and not just hinted at or suggested through the fact that throughout the movie he doesn't kill anyone, so he must have a no-kill rule. He says it. You know,
Yeah.
like it is made explicitly clear through his own dialogue that he will not kill people and that he will not use like guns.
Yeah. Exactly.
But also, like I said, I loved that that just because he stands for these values, it doesn't make him perfect outright. You know, this is his first outing as Batman. He's been doing this for 2 years. While it's not a traditional origin story in that we see his parents get killed and he just makes his first suit, it's not like that. We still see his origin in the sense that he's not the Batman that we know and love yet.
Yes, but by the end of it, we do
He
see
is.
that he's going to be, and that's, I was telling you earlier, I love that there is a character arc for this version of Batman. He starts being the embodiment of vengeance, this vigilante that nobody really exactly. Yeah,
he says, "I'm vengeance."
Yes.
He doesn't call himself Batman or anything. He's vengeance.
But he's this vigilante that nobody really trusts, and by the end of it, he's the symbol of hope for the city, and he is a hero. He is a bona fide superhero.
Yeah.
A symbol of hope, and that is a wonderful character arc for this version of Batman.
It's a beautiful one. I can't think of a recent superhero character arc that was that hard hitting, and was that well crafted.
I would say Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but that took 3 movies. This only took 1. So
And even that, while I do love his character arc, was not like the same. It wasn't as, in my opinion, like well executed as this one here. And also the fact that it took a trilogy to get there, while this one did it in, it's like 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. No, a couple more things I want to talk about before we wrap up here. The score.
Oh my god, dude. Listening to the music and seeing him just wail on people and just run around, jump around, and everything. It was like watching Arkham City, the movie.
Yes! That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, it was just... That's just how I felt.
It was an Arkham game.
To quote IGN, it made me feel like Batman.
I felt like, no, especially those POV
you were
shots.
Gonna say it.
I was going to say it too. I felt...
There's one shared brain cell in this car.
Exactly. No, but the score, I mean, it's triumphant, it's hauntingly beautiful, it's tragic, but it is Batman. It's the best Batman score since Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
100%.
Easily, yeah.
It's a masterpiece. It just gets the atmosphere of Gotham City and its inhabitants down to a T.
Yeah. You know what I actually heard? Like, the second the movie was over, I thought the same thing. I said the same thing to you. But before it, I heard someone else say the same thing. I'm going to listen to this at work tomorrow.
Yeah,
the soundtrack. They were talking about the soundtrack.
I am too. I'm going to listen to it at the gym tomorrow, believe it or not.
I believe it. I mean, that's a great place to listen to it. Especially some of those
more uplifting scores. I like that you look at my gut. You're like, oh, I believe it. You cunt. But my God. Yeah, this fucking score.
So good.
So good. We are forgetting one notable part.
Highly notable.
Should we take it easy, sweetheart? Colin Farrell's Penguin, man.
So good.
He's amazing.
He was so good.
Matt Reeves was not lying when he said he was a mixture of Fredo from The Godfather and a heavy dose of Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
Because you're basically watching Colin Farrell waddle around as James Gandolfini, and it fits so perfectly.
It was amazing.
It's amazing.
His voice.
His
mannerisms, the way he walked.
Oh
everything
my
about
God.
it was just
that chase scene, that car chase between Batman and Penguin. He's got drip. He's on it. I mean, like, he is dripping. He looks amazing.
Every suit he wears.
Every
really,
suit.
Though.
He's
looks great.
Hugo Boss, Tom Ford over here. He looks good. Tommy Bahama. I'm just naming random outlet brands.
Yeah, I know.
From a strip mall. Kohl's.
Target.
TJ Maxx.
Goodwill. Maybe not that one, actually.
But no, I if you're going to do a realistic version of the Penguin, like, yeah, you make him a fucking mobster. I love the way that they did the Iceberg Lounge animated series, the Iceberg Lounge.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I love just like everything involving the mafia in this.
Great.
You can definitely see the Godfather influence.
Oh yeah,
on
big
this
time.
movie, and it's very, very much welcomed,
Mhm.
I think. Anything, I mean, also influences from like Seven and
Yep.
a bunch
Yeah.
of other David Fincher films that I admittedly haven't seen, but everyone else is saying that it bears a passing resemblance to.
Yeah.
More than passing, probably. Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
One thing I want to say is, especially for a first time viewing of this movie,
Mm.
what this movie really nails
Mm.
very well is tension.
Yes.
The entire movie, maybe not literally, but sometimes literally, I was on the edge of my seat.
First
Like,
5 seconds.
what is
for
going
5
to happen?
minutes.
That especially,
Yeah.
that scene alone
Mm-hmm.
shows you what the rest of the movie will
Yeah.
feel like. This for me was the first Batman film where I thought, is Batman going to make it by the end of this movie?
Yeah, there's a split second, I think, where everyone's thinking like, oh, well, he could easily get shot in the face, because they make this version of him so realistically, like so realistically. No, they make him so realistic that like, oh yeah, he totally could die.
Yeah. It felt very like the idea of Batman dying in this movie felt very like it felt real, like it
Yeah.
actually could happen.
Yeah.
To the point where throughout the movie there are different moments where I'm like, oh god, could it happen here? And then there's that one moment where I'm like, is this it?
Mm.
Did this just happen?
Luckily, it didn't.
I wasn't gonna say it, but I'm assuming they know.
Spoilers,
They've seen
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But tension, that's
I just
That's
love
the
how much
word.
of a detective story it is. I love the narration. I wish there was more of the narration throughout it,
yeah,
but
it was good.
the voiceover makes it feel like a Batman comic. I burped halfway through that sentence. I'm sorry, folks.
I was wondering what that was. It's not like I'm sitting next to it, so no, I know you're talking about.
But no, like he has a diary and he's
Yeah.
like taking case notes.
I love that. I love that there's an in-universe explanation for it too. It's not
Yeah.
even necessary. It's completely. It's not like
It's a
needed,
stylistic thing,
but
but
it's great.
it makes sense.
Yeah, and I loved, as I said, that the Notebook was named the Gotham Project. It
Mhm.
said year 2, I believe.
Oh God, yes, yeah, year 2 especially.
Yeah, it's so good. Everything about this movie is what I wanted to see in a Batman movie, and
Yes.
I got it.
Yes.
This is like it's like Matt Reeves like talked to me in the past or the future and was like, "What would you like to see in a Batman movie?"
That's the exact
Okay.
same way I feel.
I'll make that movie, and then he fucking did.
Yeah. I came very close to crying tears of joy.
There was a moment the moment where he grabs the boy from the rubble,
Mm-hmm.
from the water, and I damn near cried there too. That scene, that shot, I don't know what it was about that, but him pulling him out and saving his life, and then the way he lingered holding on to him when he was being flown away, all of that was just so powerful. The music,
Because that's what
the
heroes
visuals, yeah,
do. Ugh.
and his narration over that,
Yes.
talking about how he needs to be a symbol of hope.
Yeah.
Matt Reeves just gets it. He gets
I
Batman.
can't wait to see
all
what he
get it.
does with this universe.
Yeah.
I think it's a brilliant idea just to focus on Gotham City. Fuck the rest of DC. I love the rest of DC,
Mhm.
but that ship's going down on its own.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Hop on the life raft. Let's watch the Titanic go down.
Yeah.
Maybe catch a case of hypothermia. We'll survive. Wear a blanket.
Cape and Cow.
What would you rate this if you could?
Oh, man. I mean, you know how I feel about Robert Pattinson as Batman.
Yeah.
I'd say I think I said it to
He's
them.
perfect
My
as Batman.
favorite live action Batman, easily.
Mm.
The movie, as I said, I want to watch The Dark Knight again, and then watch this, maybe even back to back, just to fully
Just
be
for
able
a
to
solid
compare.
comparison, yeah.
But at the time that we're recording this right now, I think it's my favorite ever Batman movie.
I gotta watch it a few more times. I'm definitely watching it at least 3 or 4 more times before it's on HBO Max. Apparently, it's gonna be streaming like April 17th or something. So this is
okay.
gonna be my Joker. How you watch this for 2 digits? This is gonna be me, probably closer to 3
God.
digits. I can't wait to base my personality off of Batman.
Oh, you didn't do that already?
No,
I
well,
was doing it from the trailer.
I have been. It's just been Adam West this whole time.
Touche. More of a Clooney guy.
Yeah, no, nips all the way, folks. If I were to rate this out of 10, I wonder what the Batman fan's gonna rate this movie.
Yeah,
out
I
of
know.
10.
I can't. 2 maybe.
11. It's a masterpiece. No, I fucking loved this movie. Please
too,
watch it
yeah.
immediately. If you're tired of the Marvel shit,
Hop on
It's a
board.
lovely different flavor of ice cream with your name on it. If you're tired of the DC shit, there's a lovely different flavor of ice cream with your name on it. Just watch this movie.
Please. I want to see more movies like this.
Yeah.
One thing. This is the last thing about this movie.
By all means.
There's so much.
By all means,
that's
this is going to be a
happening in
longer
this film,
episode. I'm happy about it.
that I would want to talk about. But there's this one, the shot where the car's upside down. Batman starts walking to the Penguin.
Yes.
That moment alone was just badass enough. But the music that played,
yes.
it felt like a slightly like old western like spin on that theme
Yeah,
too. Like some kind
yeah.
of other instrument was there that felt a little not out of place, but just different.
It's that
And it
that
worked
French
so well.
horn in the background that they play
Yeah.
at the top of every note. It just gives that extra oomph.
Yeah.
For me, my favorite shot again, it's either that one where he is like flying through the city, just like Arkham City.
Yep. That was
It's
great.
either that one or it's the one where he's running down the side of that building and it's that
Yeah.
camera flip.
Yeah, that was so good.
180.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Out of 10 though, if you were to rate it.
If I'm constricted to 10, I'll say 10 out of 10. If I'm allowed, which I know I am,
You are allowed.
yeah. 11, 12.
Yeah, it's
100 out of 10. I don't
It's
care.
a match. Watch the movie.
Infinity out of 10. Fuck it. you know?
3,000.
That's a little. No, I got you.
But yes, please watch this film.
Please.
Please do. We're not paid by Warner Bros.
The
We don't get a cent. We just love this brand, this IP so much that we're sponsoring it.
Yeah, the remainder of this podcast will be us for an hour screaming at the top of our lungs.
About HBO Max.
No, just to get them to watch the movie. We'll just be screaming, watch the movie on repeat.
Vengeance. That is
It's something in the way playing in the background.
That is my only I guess one of my only peeves. I have like 3, but
Okay.
one of my only peeves is that people are calling him Vengeance as
A
a
lot.
nickname unironically, and it's just fucking
I
lame.
don't know.
Like, hey, aren't you supposed to be Vengeance? It's like, no,
Here's the only thing I'll say.
he's Justice.
I think the I think the villains doing it like mocking him can kind of work.
That's fine.
I think personally, I think the Penguin didn't really do it too mockingly. I'd have to see it again to like hear that line,
Yeah.
hear his delivery again. But like Catwoman, the way that she delivered that did not feel like that's such a dumb nickname, Vengeance. It was just it felt
It's a
like
pet
a very
name for
serious,
her.
yeah, like
Yeah.
a pet name, like a very serious.
Like she thought that was a trailer moment when they were filming that scene. But yeah, no, this is everything I wanted out of a Batman movie. I'm happy I got to see this with you first. I can't wait to watch it 1,000 more times. We'll have to watch it again sometime.
Absolutely.
We should do I'm moving my keys around. I apologize. But we should do a Joker and the Batman double feature while this is still in theaters. Double feature.
That would be amazing.
Gotham City double feature.
I would love that.
That would be fun. Anyways, this has been Babylon Has Fallen. I'm your host, Mason Sandoval.
I'm your not host, Joseph Orza.
Co-host. He is our co-host. God
That's
damn
the
it.
word.
Yeah.
There it is. I forgot. Changnesia.
Changnesia, yes.
I've been watching
I like that I'm
Community.
still in the announcer voice.
Changnesia.
Changnesia from season 3 of Community. I don't know why I turned into S. Thank you for listening. This has been ADHD, the podcast.